So this is the movie that caused all the Sony hacks and all the, at this point I'm assuming, fake terrorist threats. Do people really have nothing better to do with their lives? So if there was any movie this year to top Exodus in terms of controversy, it's The Interview. Basically, this movie follows James Franco, who plays Dave Skylark, a very cocky TV host of a show called Skylark Tonight, which basically covers celebrity tabloids. The show's producer, played by Seth Rogan, finds out that Kim Jong-un is a fan of the show and wants to be interviewed by Skylark. So basically, this TV host of a celebrity tabloid show, someone who's not Jon Stewart or Bill Maher or any real news person, has scored an interview with the dictator of North Korea. So as they're about to leave, a CIA member played by Lizzie Kaplan approaches them and says, hey, while you're there, why don't you do us a favor and basically kill Kim Jong-un? So Franco and Rogan accept the mission, and as you can imagine with one of these comedies, things don't go according to plan. There's some zany moments, and they basically have to kill Kim Jong-un before they get killed themselves. I have a feeling that for as long as I live, I'm never going to encounter a movie with this much controversy like The Interview. I mean, yes, we've had something like Song of the South, which Disney doesn't release on DVD or Blu-ray for weird reasons, despite a ride based on it existing. There was obviously Exodus, Gods and Kings this year, which basically criticized the casting of white actors in Egyptian roles. And then there was a Lone Ranger last year, which was criticized for Johnny Depp playing a Native American. But here we have a movie that a studio got hacked over with lots of personal info released. There was terrorist threats just last week. If you release this movie, we will commit 9/11-like terrorist attacks on each theater that plays it. How the hackers were going to figure that out, I don't know. And then eventually got pulled, and only a few days ago, it decides to get released in small theaters that show indie films, which is where I saw it, and then on YouTube, Google Play, PlayStation Network, and Xbox Live. So, after all that hell, was it worth it? Absolutely not. But I actually did like the movie. Taking all the controversy out of the way, focusing on this movie, I actually found it funny. I mean, it's not a great movie. It's not like bust your gut laughing, but it's definitely good. I've always liked James Franco and Seth Rogan. Seth Rogen's laugh does get a little irritating at points, but I do think these two guys are funny. And that's pretty much what they are in this movie. Both of these guys are really likable, even if Franco kind of goes over the line into stupidity. It's more like he's so cocky that he ends up being stupid. And it's really kind of interesting to see Seth Rogen actually play the voice of reason, because we've been used to Seth Rogen playing the pothead, just dumbass, and James Franco was usually the one who was the straight man. And here, it's nice to see that the roles are kind of reversed. I mean, Seth Rogen has his share of goofy, stupid moments, but in the end, out of the two of them, he's the straight man. And that's pretty much how the humor of this movie is. It's just goofy, James Franco, Seth Rogen humor. Nothing really smart. It's not like Team America at all, where it was actually kind of brilliant despite being marionettes on strings. The guy who played Kim Jong-un, Randall Park, is actually pretty good. They play Kim Jong-un to be this likable guy to the point when you're introduced to him and you get to see this guy, you're like, you know, I actually kind of like him. I mean, granted, the real Kim Jong-un is a insane person, but in this movie they do portray him as a likable guy, which unfortunately doesn't really pay off in the end. When, okay, I'm not going to really say what happens, but if you've seen the ending online, you know what it is. Pretty much when that thing happens at the end, it doesn't really have that big of a payoff, because the movie didn't really focus on the aspect of Kim Jong-un where he was just a real shithead dictator. Emphasis on dick. So again, the ending, if you haven't seen it online, I won't say it, but it is kind of underwhelming. I do think this is an enjoyable movie. It's not one of the funniest movies this year. And in terms of the last movie Seth Rogen and James Franco were in, This Is the End, I actually think This Is the End is a lot funnier, but this one is pretty funny too. It's good. In the end, it's good, but it's not great. It is definitely not worth all the hacking, the personal info leaked, and the fake terrorist threats. But it is an enjoyable movie, putting all that shit aside. And, I mean, maybe if you see it, you might feel a little patriotic at the end. I suggest go seeing it at the theater with a group of people. And that's my review for The Interview. This will be the last review I'll be doing this year, but like last year, where I did a 2013 movie roundup, I will also do a 2014 movie roundup. Basically, mini reviews of the movies that I have seen this year, but didn't get a chance to review in detail. So look for that a few days before 2014 ends. But until then, leave a comment, tell me what you thought of this movie, like, subscribe, go check out my video blog channel. You can follow me on Twitter at AlexG8462, follow me on Instagram at TheRealMrRobinson, and go like my Facebook page /TheRealMrRobinson. Also, go check out my written reviews on Geeked Out Nation. This is The Real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one. See you guys later.